Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emmanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt a shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emmanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emmanuel Rose, and my guest today is going to talk about the operational realities behind social media, especially in multi-location franchise and regulated environments where workflows, permissions, and compliance create real challenges for marketing teams. Oh boy, I'm having all kinds of tech things going on right now. It's exciting. Let's see. Her perspective helps leaders understand what is actually happening behind the scenes, not just shows up in published content. Beth Trejo, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for spending some time talking social media marketing with me today.
Yeah, it's everybody's favorite subject, right?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's such a foundational part of campaigns now, right? And so for a long time, it was just like the shiny new thing. We're all trying to figure it out, and then it went from really, I would call, straightforward, where we just had Facebook and Twitter, maybe LinkedIn, and then it just fractured into all these verticals that now have their own little ecosystems and even user groups, right?
Yeah, I feel like leaders have a love-hate relationship with social. Like they understand the power of it. And then also it's like that game of whack-a-mole where you're constantly trying to like figure something out and then, oh, maybe my kid can do this, but no, they can't. And it's like this weird, like hard thing to actually grasp because it's dynamic. It constantly is moving, changing. There is a lot of people that are on these platforms. And I think from a business perspective, it just becomes really mucky at times on what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, and which platforms to focus on? I'm involved with a startup called Spec Kitty, and it's a developer tool, right, for AI programming. And and my co-founders were like, "Oh, well, we don't need to be on Instagram. Our people aren't on Instagram." And I was just like, that was just such a funny thing to say, but it's not an unusual incorrect assessment, right? Where like some people really get siloed in the way they think that they have to do social media.
Yeah, I think that, it's interesting because I've been doing this for like my agency's been around for 14 years, and that's a long time in the world of social media. I mean,
No,
if you
yeah,
look back, there was a lot of these platforms that didn't even exist.
for sure.
And it's so funny to me how the challenges that businesses are bringing up or the statements that they're saying, my audience isn't here, old people aren't there, young people
Yeah,
aren't there, is just inherently different than what they actually are doing on their own devices. And how many apps are
oh yeah,
installed? I
yeah,
always say, like, pull up the person's phone you don't think that's on LinkedIn or that you don't think is on Facebook, and like
yeah,
literally go through their phone and see where their battery drain is and where their usage is.
yeah,
Because the way that the platforms work today is so many people are on different modules of them
yeah,
that, I mean, when people ask me that question, like what platform should I be on? I always say, like, do one better than two. Like quality over quantity matters so much right now.
yeah.
And in most cases, you can reach multiple audiences on multiple platforms. But I would rather see people focus on being a superstar instead of being kind of good at a lot of them. And some people can handle it. Some people have lots of teams, resources, they have the talent. But I think that it's not a good idea just to kind of throw a dart and say, well, let's try this one because my kids say that that's the best one to use, or whatever the case.
Yeah, I do find that. I think marketing, I think we have it the worst in terms of people thinking that this is not actually a profession and that it's
Yeah, I
actually
know.
not rooted in 200 years of psychology and storytelling, and that there's actual metrics. And, some of us have even read some books about marketing besides having kids or family members who do marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so, I mean, there's so much targeting available, especially with first party data. Like if
Yeah.
I had a list of 500 prospects, it doesn't matter what platform that I go on. I can upload that list and target those people with organic and plus a little paid, and you can get your
Yeah.
content in front of people, right? So there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what the content hub is in kind of modern social media marketing. It used to be in the olden days, right? When we first got started, we would use the kind of the blog post as the a foundational document, and then things would feed from there. What's best practices now?
So I think there's two different like main approaches. I mean, there's a million, but let's just break this into two sections.
Yeah.
One is like content that builds trust, and that could also build sales eventually, or direct response. But you are putting content out for the sake of a real human looking at it, right? And then this other world that we're really entering into is content for the AI tools.
Yeah.
And there is a strategy, there's a play for that. And those two things kind of, they can intertwine, but let's just kind of segment those out because I do
I
think
like
those
it.
are a little different.
Yep.
But if you're going to the humans and you're really trying to build trust, I think that's the biggest opportunity right now on social, is offering someone that behind the scenes, what's going on, who are the people that are building, doing, being part of the company. That content still really works. And while it's harder to track, it's the make or break before they even contact you, right?
Right.
Because if they feel the ick, or they feel that like you're not trustworthy, or they hear a referral from two other sources, the chances that those real people will actually connect and take them to the next step are higher. And so I think that from a content perspective, it's really, really important these days that we show people, real humans, even in software, even in these categories that technically don't like to put their faces in front of camera.
Sure.
Um, and then I think, you can still really squeeze the juice out of your content, repurpose it, reimagine it. This is a great place for those AI tools, right? Like take something and expand on it, summarize it, add visuals to it.
Mhm.
The thing that I think people get, I don't want to say wrong, but that causes them so much pain, is they either develop content calendars for way too far ahead, like they're trying to plan 8 months out and the platforms are going to change by then. That's tricky. Or they go too day to day and it just
Mhm.
becomes a chaos. Like it's chaotic for approvals,
Yeah.
for
The timelines are impossible to manage, right? Yeah.
yes. So we like to operate, at least for our base content, for about 80% of our content on a monthly basis. We still can work ahead. You have assets for it. You kind of have a plan, even though if that plan isn't fully like imagined or realized yet. And then that really has given us a good cadence to have some flexibility with timely or in the moment stuff. But that timely doesn't have to drive your marketing teams day, and that's
Yeah.
really where the chaos starts to come in.
I love that. I haven't ever thought of it like that, like an 80%. I mean, we do it on a monthly basis, but I love that 80%. And then I'm gonna write a Claude cowork script to go and scrub for news events that are relevant to search terms and industries. So we have some topical content. I love that, Beth. That's awesome.
And then I think the other thing in that same, because that is the beauty of these things, and I think a great spot for them is the research, right? It's like
Yep.
you don't have to like comb the internet. But the other thing that I love to add on that is have it like shoot that back to you as an interview. Even like, here's three things I'm seeing right now, which, interview me. And then
Yeah.
I just dictate it. And then I give it back and say, now go see, is anybody else talking about that, because that may be a unique perspective that I didn't even
Right.
realize was unique.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it. I think the really great takeaway is developing content for the agents and for and for the AI support that people are getting, and then leaving a gap in the calendar for timely news events. Really smart. And what tools are you using to help do research and create content inside your
Yeah.
agency?
Well, we
Was
are
it
probably
Chatterbox? What's the name of your company?
Chatterkick.
Chatterkick. All
The
right. I like
I know it's
it's more action. I like
I
it.
got it right here.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, I'm probably the worst person to ask because we use so many tools right now. We are
Yeah, but what do you use?
testing and
Yeah.
trying. Sprout Social is our main social media planning tool, which is really great for approvals and client trails, auditing, making sure that the right content goes out. And I think especially if you have some complexity to your brand, one of those tools is really important.
Yeah.
Reporting, we use lots of different tools. We may pipe some of this data into some of the LLMs. We may, isolate it Sprout has some. We're pulling through the native platforms to check. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of it's the data manipulation that I think is the most exciting thing with the LLMs, because I use them all. I mean, I feel like they're my friends and I use them for different use cases.
Yeah.
Um, I have found the ones that I don't love still are a lot of the visual development tools. I just feel like you can tell so easily when something was just like AI generated, or, if you don't have it labeled, we do a lot of the response and moderation and people call it out left and right.
Yeah.
So you have to use that stuff with caution.
Yeah, I think it depends, at least from my perspective, depends on who your ICP is and
Yeah.
if they're allergic to it or not, right?
Yeah. And, I think that it's the thing that people don't want is the gotcha moment. They don't want to feel like they're being tricked. So, like, when we watch cartoons, no one ever thought that that was like a real person. And so
Right.
if you do an illustration with AI, people don't usually have issues with it. But if it's a real person, that just becomes a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah, that the whole Hey Gen thing, right, where you can create your doppelganger. That's kind of where I've drawn the line is, except for in explainer videos where you got to read a really technical script. That's the only way I'll use the Hey Gen, just to make sure that I because I've had some things where I've had to read them like 15 times. I'm like, this is they're getting too silly, so I'll just put it in there and then it puts out a clean copy for me. But yeah, people are still allergic to it. They're still aware of it. Even email subject lines that are created by AI, they have a lower open rate, about 20% lower open rate right now than email subject lines created by humans. So it's something that we have to be aware of.
Yeah, one of my favorite tools for like written content development right now is like the slight dictation tools, so like Whisper Flow, where
Yeah.
they're polishing up your words a little bit, but it isn't quite as dramatic as some of the other like tools may do. Um, and I think that those ones kind of feel a little bit more natural too.
Yeah. Well, what are you seeing for like founder-led organizations and how they should be managing social right now?
Yeah. So number one thing is the founders need to be active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And even though they oftentimes do not like that, and I know a lot of our clients that are founder led, like they don't want the company to be about them.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, if that is like, there are instances that you do have the most selling power, you have some of the most, fundraising power, and not being in front of the cameras, quote unquote, is really just making it more difficult for you. And so the LinkedIn, like thought leadership place works better than even the company side. They also have a tool called Thought Leadership Ads on LinkedIn, where the company can basically like take your personal content and promote it. And
Right.
those are working really well right now, as well as just comments. Like comments are content. And jumping in on threads, adding real value, not that AI spam stuff, but like real content um, is working for founders.
Yep, I love it. Yeah, I think it's interesting how you can even see the AI generated comments on posts,
I
right?
know.
And it's like I I had a couple of those today on one of the podcast release posts that I make, and this guy was posting on something that I hadn't even talked about yet, as if I had talked about it. I was just like, no, that's weak sauce.
Yeah. And I think that is just a point how critical and how trust is just, I mean, that is the currency right now, in my opinion. I think that, people are craving the actual person behind the logo, which is why video, like that lo-fi video of just people talking in a
Yeah.
room without, doesn't need to be polished, still really popular. They spelling errors are like in now. So I mean, I was horrible at spelling. I am horrible at spelling. And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't even care. People will know it's really me.
Well, yeah, and that's why I like to do this show live, right? It's just that it's actually you and I talking, and it's not going to be perfect, but it's real information from the field, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. What's your ICP look like? What kind of clients are you looking for?
Yeah, so we typically look for marketing leaders who are going to be like marketing managers, VPs that are working with multi-layered brands. So that could be franchisee, that could be like a private equity group, would they be a holding company and they have individual companies? That
Yeah.
might be regulated industries because they have a lot of layers, right? You got to go to compliance and then you have to go to maybe another third party for verification and validation. So it's usually not just a linear path that these marketing people have to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's why we can come in and kind of help give them some advice and expertise. Multi-site location, dealer distributor, anything where there's like parent and child.
Yeah. Well, it's a smart vertical because they usually have good budgets too.
Well, yeah, sometimes they have the most challenging budgets because they have these like baby local budgets that they have to try to make work, and but they're big brands, so it is an
Yeah.
interesting sector.
And then, are you also managing any of the pay-per-click as well?
Yeah, so we do paid social and we do Google ads. We started out with social media as our specialty, really built our company around just the constant change of social because that in itself was unique and it still is unique at the time. And then as our companies and clients have came on, we have added, probably a typical digital marketing toolkit to a lot of our services because we're used to testing, trying. We don't have a lot of, and we have some favorite tools, but in general, we can kind of be flexible with what we use and how we deploy it, because I think that's what marketing is right now. It is a playground. It's a testing ground. You can't assume what worked yesterday will work tomorrow. And those companies that can just handle change management are the ones that are just like rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why we have the assumptive silos of Pinterest is primarily
Mhm.
for women, and LinkedIn is for business, and Instagram's for the the millennials, and blah blah blah. So we have those silos, but then once you have a product or a service, and then you go, well, we're going to need to spread the spend out through this and see where the action is because nobody is smarter than the marketplace, and that includes me.
Yeah. It really is. It's like really understanding, where the party's at. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people want to join the party. Sometimes people are like, you know what? I just want those people that are like never going to click. They're never going to like engage with your post, but they're reading and they're consuming. And
Right.
it's amazing how many of those people that are out there.
Yeah, I think the other thing that people who are not professionals lose sight of is that there has to be a blend of branding and transactional in
Yeah.
order to have brand value. And a lot of times, especially in smaller businesses, they just want everything to be transactional.
Yeah.
And you just burn a market out and you're not going to get any transactions from it.
Yes, especially on social, because people, I mean, there is discovery, there is search intent, but it's still a place where you are interrupted between photos of people you may know, people you follow. Oh yeah, and then maybe a cool new outfit that I want to wear. Like it is not the same as just like I need something, I'm going here, or to the
Right.
store.
It's kind of like in the old days when we'd go to the mall and we just had $50 in our pocket and we'd go and spend it somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. This mall's big, right?
And it was either to socialize and buy a Coke or to go buy a pair of jeans. We just didn't know which one it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I appreciate your time, Beth, and I think it's I'm excited to see the work that you're doing, and people want to get a hold of you at Chatterkick. How do they do that?
Yeah, they can just, our website's chatterkick.com. All of our social assets are Chatterkick. We are on lots of the platforms.
Yeah.
We use them for our own experiments. And my contact information is just Beth Trejo. I'm on LinkedIn, or Beth@chatterkick.com.
All right. Awesome. We'll have that in the show notes, and really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. And I hope you have a great week.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a great conversation.
All right. Thanks, Beth.
Thanks.
Well, there's some great things to remember, which is none of us are smart in the marketplace. You got to do your testing. You start out with some good theses, and then you test them and figure out where the action is, where the party is, according to Chatterkick, of course. Also, leave some space in your content calendar for news and events, and that's what I'm gonna get implemented right away in marketing that we're doing. Sure hope you enjoyed conversation I had with Beth Trejo at Chatterkick. I did. I learned a lot. And I also hope that you take some time today to dig in to some AI tools and find a way to get 4 to 6 hours of your work week back, which is what the average U.S. executive is getting right now when deploying AI in a proper way. And with that time, you continue to upskill, that you spend that time with your friends and family, and that you get outside in the nature away from the screens. This is Emmanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is